Do you, Josh?
Shut up.
And do your job? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. Just do as you're told.
Oh, wait. Oh, jeez. I need Audacity. Holy majoli.
Go, take your time, dude. As long as we're live, that's like, one huge thing down.
One.
As soon as it goes live, swear a lot.
We already went live, Josh.
Oh. Sorry.
I'm rocking in the free world here. We're good.
That's the most ironic thing I got to say.
What's that?
You've been buzzed on a show, Chad.
Me?
Twice, I believe. Yes, twice. Dan
Really?
Fry was buzzed on a show. Steve C is cussed on a show. One or two other people have, but Josh has never been buzzed on a show.
Oh, wow. Good for you, man.
We can fix that tonight.
He always lets it out in the pre-show.
Well, it's normally because you yell at me so much, I have to pay attention.
Oh yeah, I yell.
I have to say that I was buzzed before I realized we went live. We didn't actually it wasn't you went like
Well, I
hey,
thought
the podcast had started and then yeah.
I want to say on one show you got buzzed, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't think so. I'm usually pretty good about that, but maybe not. Sometimes I'm not. You know what they say? There's actually been a study.
Oh, here we go.
That people who swear are more honest than people who don't.
Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit.
No, it's not. See?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
But
gonna
now
say
he's got to edit that out of the YouTube video.
I don't
That's
have the
terrible.
ability for that. Let me make sure I have this right.
Okay, see, you're using Screen with your Minecraft server, so I'm gonna learn something tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty much all Linux based. But I do want to talk about like the easy way to do it first, and then we'll get into this.
Are you still running a server?
Tweet.
Yeah, I run one for the kids.
He has to, or his kid
and
will
a
have
couple
to.
of friends.
I think his kid will strangle him in his sleep if he doesn't.
Claudio Miranda's friends come on our server. Or excuse me, Claudio Miranda's kids come on our server.
His friends.
His friends. All his Hispanic friends down in Florida come on our server and harass my kids.
Damn it. Why does everybody want to talk now? Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, you could ignore him. Jeez.
We recorded HPR.
I know.
Yeah, Ken Fallon, he ain't gonna air it.
Wouldn't shock me at all. I didn't say that out loud either. You can't prove a thing. Oh, wait, you can.
We can. We discussed freedom, and that's bad.
Yeah, considering he's the guy that always sings the
another
freedom
word
song.
for nothing left to lose.
Jesus.
That's right. Just ask
Hippie.
Bobby McGee.
Number 13. Number 13. Number 13.
McGee.
Yeah, this is gonna be good.
I'll tell you what, she had some talent.
Yeah, man. All the dead ones did.
My bicycle. Yeah, it's good stuff. And it was painfully obvious about certain things. She just didn't care. And that's okay. Because she's good
Absolutely.
enough. She's smart enough.
And gosh
Doggone.
darn it,
Does that even show up?
People
Here.
like
people
her.
liked her.
Here you go, Chad. Okay, does that show up on there okay?
Oh, look at that. Get yourself a little dead bear, huh?
Yeah. Memories.
Memories.
99%
Oh,
of
yeah,
them.
that's right. Why don't you play us? You need to start recording music again, you friggin' prick.
It's on the list. I just finished my degree, so I got time
Nice.
now. For at least 3 months. Not really.
Yeah, I was going to say you
It feels
liar.
like as soon as you like finish something, everything else just fills in its place, and you just
That's life, man.
yeah.
That's why when retired people don't have anything to do, they die. I'm just saying.
Yeah, word. Like my father-in-law is crazy busy, even though he's retired.
Yeah, my dad, since he's retired, now he's only working like 35 hours a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my father just stopped doing the food bank here. He was like, it was too much. But he's still running around constantly. What's up, yo?
Okay.
Yo.
Can you please man your Audacity?
Oh, yeah, my Audacity. I better make sure it's working right.
Make sure it's working right. Before I make you do more shows with Jonathan that don't get published.
Yeah, I don't care. They don't like what I have to say. They can. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, Chad, I don't care if this is recorded. I don't care. One of my buddies, really cool guy, he went out and bought a Raspberry Pi, a case, a PS3 remote, and everything, so he can do his own RetroPie. He wants to have a NES, retro BitTorrent share, but only of like curated games, not just dumps of hundreds of games from here or there. Games that people actually like and play, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'll go well.
Because did I tell you my setup?
That's illegal, and I'll have nothing to do with it. Talk to me after the show.
Yeah. Okay. Did I tell you about my setup, Chad?
I think we've talked about it. Yeah, I think it's similar to mine.
Well, I'll tell you real quick. Raspberry Pi, RetroPie. RetroPie is running RetroArch. That's how it does all of its emulation, except for in television, whatever.
Right.
I have BitTorrent sync on this computer with mapped drives to
for the ROMs.
Shares for the ROMs.
Nice. That's good.
Sync running on this computer.
Yeah.
I have my Moga Pocket game controller. I have RetroArch installed on my phone.
Oh, nice.
I have BitTorrent sync on my phone, so I can literally grind like Dragon Warrior on my phone.
Yeah, but that's not fun, is it?
With the Pocket Moga, it's fine.
Is it? Okay.
I get a full controller, and then when I'm done, I BitTorrent sync it, and I get home, fire the RetroPie screen because it's running 24/7, and then voila, I have myself. I'm at the exact same spot.
Right, because it just syncs it over. That's a great idea. You should. Have you talked about that on Linux for the Rest of Us? You guys should talk about that.
Not on Linux for the Rest of Us. I talked about it on Podnut's Meetup and Android App Addicts because Linux, I don't want to say is inconsequential to the whole thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it is the backbone of the RetroPie, and it is the backbone of Android.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what else are you going to do it on? You can't do that. You can't do that on anything else.
Look at your screen, Chad. This is all your fault, by the way.
Oh, God. I love that game. Dude, that's the World of Goo guys, man. I just went to their website like 3 days ago, and I'm like, when are you coming out with another game? And they're like, I have no idea. There's nothing to say that they're going to come out with another game, but I'm sure they will. But, God, I love that game.
What was that game?
Little Inferno.
I never heard of that one. I don't think I have. We got to start the show, man. You guys got to stop jabbering.
All right, let's do this. What do you mean, us jabbering?
Prick.
You just talked to me 15 minutes about RetroPie, and we talked 30 seconds about Little Inferno?
I figured Josh would have been the guy calling me out.
Okay. I'm actually holding myself back from playing video games right now.
Okay, I'm looking at screenshots of this. What is this supposed to be like?
We are going to start the show like you just said, and we'll talk about it later.
Man, your Audacity. Hit record in 3, 2, 1. Record. Looking good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Server Show, episode 13. My name is DoorToDoorGeek, aka Steve McLaughlin. There's an extra K in there for some godforsaken reason. I don't know. I am joined tonight by Josh, KnuckleHeadTech. How's everything going, man?
Good, man. Be careful how many Ks you put in there. You can get in trouble.
A lot of trouble. Yeah, I agree. We're also joined this evening by Chad Wollenberg. What was your nickname again? Slugworth?
I don't have a nickname like that, anyway.
I thought it was Slugworth. I don't know. Well,
I thought you were going to ask me how I was doing.
How you doing?
Nobody cares how you're doing. Let's move on.
Hey!
Is everything good, man?
Yeah, things are great. I got higher speed internet today.
Nice.
Higher's always good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still way behind the normal people, but I'm doing all right.
What are you running at?
25 down, 2 up.
Yeah. I got 7 down, 1 up. You're doing all right.
Well, see, that's what I had, but they doubled me. It's interesting, actually. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
So
your second's done.
So I have CenturyLink, and I'm pretty far from the central office for CenturyLink, which is what's the determination for I used to work for DSL company.
Oh, anyway. So this is DSL.
Yeah, this is DSL.
Okay.
So,
you worked for a DSL company?
I did, and back in the early 2000s during the .com boom. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot, way too much about DSL, which always pisses the techs off when they come here. I'm like, what's this? What are you doing? I don't know how to do that. Hang on, let me set this up. But so the guy shows up, and I didn't understand why I was getting double speed, because I know how far I am from the central office, right? So I said, is this VDSL? So that's a new term for this new high-speed DSL. He's like, no. This is ADSL 2 plus. And what we're doing is we're aggregating 2 phone lines together at the router. So basically they're using, and I didn't verify this, but basically what they're doing is they're using something like LACP, which is Link Aggregation Control Protocol, right, which you would use on a normal switch or router to put multiple Ethernet cables together, and that's what they're doing on the router here. And so the router's actually taking those 2 links, putting them together, and I have not seen any latency. Everything's been really nice. It's and I just got it today, but I mean, so far so good. It's pretty cool.
Well, 2 lines into one, hence double the speed.
Right, as long as it can. It's basically a load balancer, but it's not actually load balancing. It's actually taking both and binding them together, which is what the aggregation is, right?
So, dumb question, network question, I guess. So, is there a protocol that's being used on both sides of the router, and where the 2 lines?
I mean, that's what the protocol is on the layer 2 side. It's called Link Aggregation Control Protocol. It's LACP. It's so that's the industry standard. It's called different things depending on what vendor you're using, but that's actually the standard LACP. Now I don't know that that's what they're using, but I do. They literally gave me a Cisco router. Excuse me, a Cisco modem. So I assume it's the same protocol, but I can't be sure because it is a different technology. So, but interesting enough. Yeah.
That's cool. I have 75 down, 35 up.
I hate you.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's okay. Because
35, dude. If I had 35 up, I would rule the world.
Yeah.
No one would have to worry about girls getting kidnapped in Africa. I'd be taking care of them just online. Done.
I have to work a certain number of hours a day, Chad. I'm just saying. Okay. That was quite the tangent, I'll say. Now, stupid question, Josh. Since you said your speeds, do you have DSL too?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really a location thing. I know with them, distance from where your line like truncates is a major factor in speed and performance.
I'm pretty close. I'm within 5 miles.
Oh, so they just don't have fast speed?
No.
Okay.
Idaho, man.
Well, things can change. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. First off, I wanted to publicly thank Alistair for coming on the show. Period. While my kids are up, DoorToDoorGeek does not exist. The show that him and Josh did was recorded Saturday, I believe was 4 p.m. my time, so I could not make it no matter how much I wanted to. I wanted to thank Alistair for coming out. I thought that was really good information, and I want to publicly say, Josh, you did a damn good job, sir.
Yeah, same here. Great job.
I learned everything from you guys.
I don't know what you mean by that, but okay, we're going to move down to the main topic. And the main topic, I will say, It has a couple properties to it that make me literally despise everything about it, but doesn't matter because it's already taking over the world. So we're going to talk about Minecraft servers because it's a server, and this is the server show. It has nothing to do with Chad's or Josh's extreme bias towards Minecraft.
But I don't know about that.
But we're going to talk about Minecraft servers. Now, first off, when I think server, I think of just a dedicated computing device offering up quote-unquote services. Is that the gist of what a Minecraft server is?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it does. It gives a platform for multiple users to connect to game together, which is what every server does, right? Just slash out the game and put in share files, or slash out the game and put in directory or whatever.
Right. Well, and here's the question I'll give, and this is really a coding decision. Whenever someone does any kind of server, they have an option to make while they're doing the code, which is to have the client do a large amount of the work or to have the server do a large amount of the work. And because Minecraft is essentially Java from soup to nuts, from beginning to end, I'm going to guess a large amount of the work is done on the server side.
Yeah, so here's the crazy thing about Minecraft, and jump in at any time, Josh. Both the client and the server do a ton because it's Java.
Yeah.
It is not a friendly game for weak machines. It just doesn't run well on weak machines, and you can times that by 10 on the server side. And it's so funny because when I first looked at the game, I'm like, wow, what's up with the 32-bit graphics, man? This is disgusting. Like, this is the most disgusting game I've ever seen. It's not about that. It's about actually the size of the game. It's ridiculous. I don't know if you've ever seen the video online. There's a video where you can constantly, it's not actually a video, it's an interactive video where you can constantly zoom out, and you go from, just down in a little in your house, and then out to a city, and out to the city, out to the state, and then up to the country, out to the earth, and then out to the solar system, and you keep going and you keep going. About 7 or 8 steps out in the solar system, it's a Minecraft seed. The Minecraft seeds that you create on your box, and a seed is actually a unique gaming environment created every time you create a new server or a new game on Minecraft, is actually larger than parts of our solar system.
Okay, so each room, each area, each zone created on a Minecraft server. First off, I'm going to guess a block in Minecraft is supposed to, because everything is block based.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess a block represents a certain amount of space, whether it be 1 inch or 1 mile.
That's exactly correct. Yep.
But I'm going to guess if it is that unbelievably big, then it can't be like 1 inch.
Well, what you're looking at is you're a person in Minecraft, right? You've got your person, and so a block is only like, it might be 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, but what they're looking at is the geographical space that it takes up that you can explore.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how much stuff is up in the game? Because at least when my son plays it, it looks like there's a lot of horizontal and a lot of down.
And up. There's a lot of up as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The huge mountains that go up into the clouds and stuff. Yeah. But what we're talking about is flat space when you create a seed. So when you create a seed, you literally land on the ground. We were way far ahead of, or even we're rat-holed into what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
But so basically what happens is when you spawn in Minecraft, you land on a map. Lay out a map on your table, and you land somewhere on that map. Just put your finger on it. And what I'm saying is if that map were the world, okay, you could just point at the ocean or point at North America, and you'd land in that. But no, instead, actually, that map would cover like 3 or 4 acres, and you would just put a pin down and say I landed here.
Well, and I'm gonna guess every time you land in that world, you're saying it takes up so much resources from one end of that world to the other end of the world. Things are quote unquote literally possible of happening without you actually seeing them.
Yeah, so it's true in some sense, but actually, things spawn on their own. So you have you have the ability to create a world, but that world does not propagate until you explore it. So that is one way that it manages the memory and the space that it takes. So in some ways, it's the possibility of exploring that much. But you still have this huge imprint because the seed already knows what's going on before you actually explore all of it. So it's a really weird thing. It's actually based off of a game called Dwarf Kingdom, something like that.
Oh no!
Yes, where every single
Dwarf Kingdom. Do you know about Dwarf Kingdom?
Yeah, every single seed is unique. That's where seeds came from in Minecraft.
Dwarf Kingdom isn't even up to version 1. It's been in the making for over 20 years.
That's right.
It's not even in version 1.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Because they're not happy. They're not happy. And the game is insane.
It's not about not being happy.
Well, you know what I mean. They don't feel like they're at the point yet to where they can call it version 1. We've worked on this game for 20 years. And if someone wants to literally lose possible centuries of their life, check out Dwarf Kingdom.
I think we talked about that. You and me, not on the show, haven't we?
I don't know if it was me and you, but I know my buddy at work sat me down for an hour telling me about Dwarf Kingdom, and I finally just turned to him and I said, "Why are you telling me this?" He said, "Because I have to. I can't stop playing
I might be wrong on that. It's
Dwarf Fortress or Dwarf Kingdom?
Dwarf Fortress. It might be Dwarf Fortress. There
yeah,
we go.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, it's insane.
There it is. That's it.
That is literally, this is insane. That's all I gotta say.
Anyway, so if you don't already know Minecraft, like listening to us for the next 40 minutes is going to be really painful. Really painful. And on top of that, we're going to talk about setting up a server, so it's even going to be worse. Should we get into the server stuff?
Well, okay, I'll ask you.
All right.
What's the minimum you would think? I already know a little bit from hearing people talk about it. I'm going to guess there is no quote-unquote minimum requirements because it matters how many connections you're going to have and how hard you're going to tax it and how good of a performance that you want.
Well, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
The beginning is, if I'm running the latest version of Minecraft, I don't need to set up a server.
Oh.
All I have to do is set up a single-player game, go into the options, and hit LAN game. Or is that it? LAN? Yeah, LAN game.
Open to LAN.
Open to LAN, thank you. And then it opens in my local network, and anyone in the local network can go to multiplayer and see my server and connect to me and play with me.
That's cool.
It's awesome. It's great. It's like every game should have this from this point on. There's no reason not to. It's fantastic.
Yes, but your computer has to be turned on. Your Minecraft has to be turned on, and that option has to be enabled for other people to use it.
Correct. You have to be playing, basically, and you have to enable that. So it's very much a, hey, you guys want to play Minecraft? Hang on, I'll throw up the server, and then you wait a second, and then everybody joins in on your server.
So you better have a good machine, too.
It's interesting. The local LAN version, it's not bad. I mean, you have to have a good machine to run Minecraft anyway.
That's crazy.
It's not going to run on an old POS. It's really not. It's just not going to happen. Do you find that too, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. I took a laptop. It's an old Latitude D820, and they're well known for overheating. So I set up like peppermint on there for the kids to use, and they wanted Minecraft. And I had to rip all kinds of stuff out of it. And then I can't remember. They've changed it a little bit. There used to be some separate files, drivers you can install. It's like lib something or other. So I had to change all those, and it got to the point that I got it to run, but after about 10 to 15 minutes, it would load up too much. It would overheat the system, and he'd have to get out of it, cool back down, and he'd go right back into it. I mean, it's just the way it is. And that was a dual core with almost 2 to 4 gigs of RAM.
Wow.
That's exactly what I found. My kids both run decent machines, and they both run fans when they play Minecraft. I mean, the fans just kick in hard. It gets loud
Okay.
in this house when we're gaming.
Okay, so I'm going to expect then when I see dedicated, precompiled Minecraft server OSs for the Raspberry Pi, your Minecraft experience has to suck when you play
Yeah,
on.
it not only does it suck, but you don't. Yeah, it does suck. That's basically what it comes down to. Yes, it sucks.
I have to say, I don't think it. I don't care how much optimized it can be. It's
No,
Java and it's an ARM processor.
exactly. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna go well. And they've been working on that for a long time. I don't even know why anybody's working on that because there's just no way it's ever going to be optimized.
It's
Mm.
Java.
Which brings up a really good point. So not only did we talk about so right now we're talking about Minecraft on Linux, Mac, and Windows, but there's also Minecraft for Xbox,
Hmm.
and there's Minecraft for
Android.
Android and iOS. Yeah. They're not cross. They don't interplay with each other, but they all have this feature of running a server as simple as going into the settings and running it. So that's the easy way to run a server. However,
Right.
if you are into Minecraft and you are ever playing Hunger Games or Wall Games or Sky Games or things like this,
Hunger Games, I'm gonna guess these are like custom spins maybe of Minecraft with different either bitmap graphics or effects.
Well,
so
think
that's
of it
what
like
we're
a
going to
mod.
talk about. So yeah, so the real popularity of Minecraft is like going online and getting on a server that is filled with this huge community filled with games, and there's a whole ton of games. Hunger Games happens to be one of the most popular. So you get into a server, you get into you decide to get into a Hunger Games round, and there's maybe, I don't know, 30 to 100, or sometimes even less than that, people, and you literally play a round of Hunger Games. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, run.
I don't know what
And
that means. I'm a man
oh, you don't know Hunger
with
Games?
testosterone and running through me. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, everybody else does. And all these really popular Minecraft servers are are based on what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
They're based on Craft Bucket servers is basically what it is.
Craft
And
bucket servers. Okay,
yes.
okay, got it.
So Craft Bucket is, so if you go to bukkit.org, it's a huge site. But what I actually, the way this is all going to go is the Craft Bucket Minecraft server is actually at dl.bukkit.org/download/craft bucket. So what this is a hugely hacked version of a Minecraft server
Mm-hmm.
that has a robust community and a whole lot of mods involved. So this is where the popular Minecraft just went boom. I mean, this
Yeah.
is, if you go online, this is what you're playing on basically.
Okay, see, now this goes exactly with one of my beliefs. Whenever anything has the availability to have plugins or mod added to it, it dramatically increases the odds of it possibly being popular.
Yes, absolutely. And it's weird, like Notch and Mojang, they don't necessarily say this is not good or it is good. They have in the past said it is good, but they're implementing a lot of these features, the Craft Bucket features, into the main game. So I don't know if they're trying to, take over the space. But anyway, if you ever go to onto a popular Minecraft server right now with 200 plus players, this is what they're running. They're running a Craft Bucket server. And the thing that makes a Craft Bucket server unique and special is that if you click on or just Google Craft Bucket mods,
Oh, jeez.
You will literally see thousands and thousands of mods that you can mod your Minecraft server with. And this is the server I run for my kids. It's a Craft Bucket server, and we have wild mods plugged in where we can build separate worlds and then portal into them. We have ways to claim our territory so that no one else can destroy our stuff. We have just a whole bunch of really cool stuff, but that's irrelevant. What we want to know is, how do you set one of these servers up? How do you set one of these up? If you're a Windows user, it's probably the easiest way to go, and I have no idea how to do it.
Neither do I.
I have no idea. But I can tell you how to set it up on Linux, and I think you can translate that into Mac if you wanted to. Which I have run. I have run a Minecraft server on a Mac. But the only big difference is that you have to watch out for your directory structure and your shell scripts. But on Linux, and this is going to get really geeky. Should we just get into this door, or are we good?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So you have to have some kind of Linux server set up beforehand. And my suggestion would be to and in my opinion, first of all, if you're going to run a Minecraft server, it shouldn't have a GUI at all, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to reserve your RAM and your space and your processing power. So if you want to get the most out of your Minecraft server, you really need some type of server, Linux server.
There's you can get CentOS without a GUI. Ubuntu Minimal doesn't have a GUI. Debian Net Install doesn't have a GUI. So there's a lot of choices. My question is, would you suggest one over the other?
Yeah, Ubuntu or Debian is always my suggestion, just because that's the most supported on the site, and it's my preference as well. Any kind of Debian-based install will work with what I've written up, which I guess will be in the show notes or linked to the show notes or something like that. So there's a couple of things you need to know. First, you got to have that installed. Like, we're not going to go over an installation of one of those servers. This is going to be a Debian-based install. And then once you have it installed, you have to be able to SSH into it. I know we've talked a little about SSH before. You gotta install your OpenSSH server, and you have to SSH into it. And once you're into that, you actually need two things to run Minecraft, and that's it. And that's Java. And in this case, if you're doing a Debian-based install, it's just going to be a sudo apt-get install default-jdk. That's the Java development packages. And also, you want to install Screen. And I think we might have talked about Screen before. Go ahead.
Okay, two first real quickies. One, if you want, from your Windows desktop, you can use a tool like Putty after having SSH installed to easily get into the server. Putty's a really good tool for that.
If you're on Windows, yeah.
If you're on Windows, if you're on Debian and you need to install SSH, I highly suggest you install Tasksel, Tasksel, and from there to install SSH server is literally like one click. It's really easy, really simple to do. I'll put that in the notes. Okay, now my question is,
there's no click.
Well, enter.
Well, and all Debian distributions come with SSH client by default. So all you have to do is open up a command line and just do SSH your name at and the IP address, and you'll directly SSH into the machine.
Right, or in Putty, just copy paste.
Same exact thing. Yeah.
Okay, now it's a really quick question. You said default-jdk. Is this, now just for my knowledge, is this going to install OpenJDK or SunJDK?
Yeah, Sun. It's totally Sun. You have to. It's not going to work otherwise.
That's what I figured.
So yeah, it's gonna install a ton of stuff too. I mean, it's Java, man. It's ugly. It's ugly. I mean, that's the whole point. That's why this thing runs like a beast, really. And so once that's done, you're ready to go, basically. you at this point, and I did write in the little crazy quick tutorial I wrote right before the show, a little lesson on screen. And so people who don't know what screen is, if I am SSH into a server, all command line, I have one shell open. So if I do something like apt-get update, it's going to scroll through and I can't do anything.
Right.
But if I just type in screen, it's actually going to open up two shells within the same session. And I'm going to leave my first shell, but it's going to stay open, and I'm going to move into my next shell. And once I'm in my next shell, I can do something and then detach and go back to my original shell while the other stuff is moving along.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Hydra of command line tools, because you can have as many heads, as many command lines as you want. I will say the only gimmick is if you're doing an apt-get install over here, you shouldn't do any other installation things.
You won't be able to. It'll tell you can't. So.
Oh, because it's locked. You're right.
It's locked, right? Yep.
Right. Okay.
So the important thing to understand about that is if you can run screen, you can actually run things as a service, because you can actually open a screen session when you're SSH'd in, leave it open, detach from it, exit the SSH session, and 17 days later, SSH back in, reattach to the screen session, and that screen session will still be running, unless you had some kind of interruption in service. Gotcha. Now that's important, because unless you want to run crazy init.t scripts to run Minecraft as a service, this is the easiest way to run a Minecraft server. No question. All right, so there's screen, and there are many, many tutorials about screen out there. We're not going to get into screen. Once you have both of those things installed, you want to go out to what we said before, which was Craft Bucket. Yep.
What was the second thing again? Default JDK and
default JDK and screen. That's it.
Screen. Oh, okay.
We got it.
I was expecting more pain than this.
No, it's not that bad. The job is the pain, and as long as you're running the latest version, you update that default JDK, you'll be able to run it.
Okay.
So then you go to that dl.bucket.org downloads/craftbucket, and then download the latest version. Now, caveat here, you have to be, if you're running the client, you're like, obviously you want to run a server because clients have to connect to it.
Right.
You want to make sure you're running one of the local versions of the client to the server. In other words, if you're running the latest version of Minecraft, chances are you're not going to be able to connect to the recommended build of the latest CraftBucket server.
Okay, so they have recommended beta and development.
Correct.
So would you suggest the beta?
I've run development for almost 2 years now, and have had very little problems.
Oh, good.
Because the thing about development is it's keeping up the latest version of Minecraft, and you really don't want to just hang out with the latest version. You don't want to update your client just because you're running this one server, you know. So I try to update to development as much as possible. Now there have been some weird stuff where the horses in one of the latest patches kind of just sat on top of the water and stuff, like weird stuff, but nothing like I fell into lava, you know, and killed myself. No, nothing like that. So this is all Minecraft talk, Dora. I know it's crazy stuff here.
It's Greek to me, baby.
There will be a Podnuts Minecraft server soon.
Woohoo! So once you get that pack, so a lot of people don't know about W. So I'm SSH'd in, right? This is all command line. So I just right click on the developmental build and I say save link as, and then I go over to my command line and I just do a wget, or depending on where you are, but usually just a wget, and then paste in that link and it'll download it to wherever I am in my my Linux server.
Right, and in the SSH from Linux to Linux, it's going to be
your control.
Control Shift NV, or I believe middle click possibly.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right.
It's going to be Control Shift. Yeah. So now that should wget is webget, right? That should just download that package to your home folder, which is in my case /home/tab, right? And once I have that, I need to now we're in. Now we've got everything we need. We're ready to create our Minecraft server.
Okay.
So I'm going to just do a make dir, mkdir, craft bucket, which is craftbukkit. Now I have a directory in my home folder called craft bucket. I'm going to move that file over to my craft bucket folder, which is an MV and then the name of the file. You got that?
Yep.
All right. And then I'm going to CD into that folder. So I'm going to CD craft bucket.
Right. Create the
Change
folder,
directory.
move the file, move into the folder.
Right. Change directory, CD into that directory. And again, we've created a document, so everyone's listening to this. They can check out the document. This will probably make more sense, or maybe not, and email us. Right? Sure. And so once you're in there, you want to. So when you download the file from CraftBucket, it's going to be named something like CraftBucket/version/beta/ blah 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 blah. So to rename that file to make sure that it's going to run properly, you do an MV, which is actually move.
Right.
And you do the big name of the file, and you can tab complete that. And then you just do a craftbucket.j. What is it? It's a JR? Is it a JR?
Yeah, a jar file. It's a jar file.
Yeah, that's right. It's so it's just craftbucket.jar. I said JR, but it's actually JR. So you want to rename it to that. And that's going to be important because you're going to create a script to run that exact thing, that Java file, to create your entire server and to run your entire server. So you're doing an MV, the name of the file, and then space, and then the name you file you want it to be, and then you're done. And you've got this file. So now you've got this craftbucket.jar file.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with that thing?
I know.
What are you going to do?
Delete it. No. You'd have to run either one of two commands, I'm going to say from my experience, either Java space and the name of the jar file, or
That's
Java WS space. The name
That's
of the
right.
file.
So it's a little more complicated in this case, but that would be normally completely right.
I tried.
No. I mean, you really are right, and you could do that. It's going to give you it might work, but it's going to give you a slight error. So I included the entire line of code. Well, it's not code, but the entire command line. Yeah, the command in the document, but it's Java dash capital X MX 1024M capital M, excuse me, dash jar craftbucket dot jar dash lowercase o space true. Don't ask me what the hell that means.
I was going to.
I got that off of the CraftBucket site. You just have to look up Linux installation on CraftBucket site, and they'll give you that exact command. Now, what's going to happen when you run that?
I can tell you one thing. That 1024, if I remember correctly, that has to do with the Java memory.
Oh, that makes sense.
1024 megabytes.
That's right, because you can change that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the zero true, I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure either. So
I don't know.
Once you do that, that's going to put you into the Minecraft command line prompt. So it's going to run the server. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff run down the screen. And it's going to say creating world.
Yep.
World created. All right, everything's ready. Are you ready? Bang! You have a server.
So there's really no installation of CraftBucket. It's just a jar file that you then execute with Java that you installed.
That's exactly right, and it creates the files for you. And so now you're running a server, and now this folder that you created is populated by a bunch of different Minecraft folders and files.
Right. Sprites and images and bitmaps and text files and Java libraries.
I'll tell you exactly what it's. A bunch of JSON files, properties files, YMLs, logs, and then your folder is full of your actual world, which those get big. Those can get really big because we talked about before. It could be the size of our universe. So that's it. Now, once you're into the command line, of course, you're running this in screen, right? We've talked about that. So you can do a Control-A, and then Control-A, which puts you into the command prompt for screen, and then hit D, and that'll detach you from screen and put you in your original command prompt. I know we're confusing people, but just bear with me for a second. And then you can exit out, and then you can just play on your server with your kids. Anyone can connect to your IP address with the default port for Minecraft, and anyone in your local LAN can go to that IP address and play Minecraft.
Until, correct me if I'm wrong, until you reboot. Or until you have a power outage.
Until you reboot. And then you have to go back in, run a screen session, and run that again.
Again.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
And actually, there are some problems with running just the jar and not running a little bit of a script. That it's a bash script that I did put in the documentation. What I would suggest is a couple things, actually. I would suggest taking the script and just putting it in the same folder as your Minecraft server folder that's in the documentation. And every time you run the server, run the bash script rather than the .jar. So all you have to do is a ./craftbucket.sh instead of doing that crazy Java thing. And that way, anytime you update the craftbucket.jar file, you don't have to worry about it. You just always run the .sh file. Right. And it'll always work, and it'll just come up for you. And it's a lot easier to run, too.
So the first time you run it, it basically expands itself onto your file system.
It does.
But after that, it's not going to overwrite?
No, like it's not. Not unless you tell it to. So let's talk about that.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about that. So when it first expands itself, one of the most important things that it creates is a server.properties file. And if you open up that servers.property file, you'll see a whole bunch of settings that literally controls the entire Minecraft universe that you just created.
Gotcha.
And not only that, you have permissions, you have whitelists, you have whether or not there's PvP. You have a whole bunch of stuff in here.
What's PvP?
A player versus player rather than player versus environment. So people can hit each other or they can't, which in my servers we always turn that off because Miles will beat up his sister every time she hits him on accident. Right?
Or I'll kill my kids when they start being
right.
stupid.
They start whacking you on accident and you're like, stop that! Yeah.
Yep.
So we turn that off just to make the household more happy. But one of the most important things we do is we turn on the whitelist, you know. And so I have to whitelist your username if you want to play on the server.
And people always ask, should I whitelist? Yes.
Right, because then otherwise anyone can join your server if it's in the internet. If it's local, don't worry about it.
Right, and then if you blacklist, I'll just say, then if you blacklist the name, all I got to do is just change my name.
Well, there is no blacklist.
Oh, I tried. I tried, damn it.
And the interesting thing about Minecraft is that you have to be registered with Mojang to get onto official servers. So it would cost you $30 every time you registered a new name.
Oh.
Right.
So you are stuck with your name.
So pick a good name. Don't pick Fluffy Pancakes unless you really like the name Fluffy
Pancakes. And not only that, but don't piss people off with Fluffy Pancakes because you're stuck with it, you know, unless you want to pay $30 every 3 weeks to change your name and try to get on the server again, which is actually a really cool structure for a game. But I want to point out that, you know, so configure this file, then you have to restart the server again. So once you're in the console of the server in that screen session, you can hit stop to shut it down, and then start to turn it back on, and that's it. And then these server.properties will come into effect again.
What do you mean hit stop? Is there like a
you just type in stop. You just stop.
Okay.
Because it has its own command line.
Yeah, it has its own.
Oh, gotcha.
And there's a whole lot of command, but all you really need to know to run one of these servers is stop and start. And if you really want to get crazy, reload. And that's about it. But I want to point something out. If you stop the server, and then you go into servers.properties, and you change this one line, and it's level-name equals.
Okay.
And then you put in a new name over the top of the old name, it's going to create a completely new Minecraft world.
But will that overwrite your previous world?
So it won't. So it's going to keep the previous world in its folders and will create new folders for the new world. So if you wanted to go back to the old world on the server, you would just put back the old name, and everyone would be able to get back to it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah. So I have over the past 3 years, I have multiple worlds that my kids have created, and I still have them stored on my hard drive just for brevity's sake. And every now and then, we just change the level name. We have a new seed. We have a new world, and we just go and we just do it all over again. You know what I mean? And it's really neat. It's pretty fun. Yeah. And then that's it. You can now run that server like you say, Door. If the power goes out or for some reason you have some weird problem on the server where you have to reboot, you have to make sure you go back in and run that shell script again. Now you could put that on a cron job,
right,
if you wanted to, because it's going to fail if it's already running. So it would constantly make sure that it was running. But I wouldn't do that. I mean, you're going to know if the server's down.
I'll say there is a cron you can do that will only run at boot. So you could do it like that, but it is only one command you got to issue. And I'll say
that's it.
And I'll say a server thing to add to the thing. The reason you have to type the // before you type out a sh file is because that path for that file is not in the current path variable of the OS. So if you add the current path,
current directory
/home /chad /bit whatever bucket thing, craft bucket to your environmental variable path, you don't have to then type the /. That's one of those stupid little weird things I picked up from using Linux throughout the years. But I will say, personally, I'm a fan always of running bash scripts instead of Java commands.
Yeah, right.
Just because you're a lot less likely to typo or do something wrong. Because it's the shell script, it's already typed out, you just hit the shell script and it does its duty.
So much easier. So much easier.
And I'll say, for how much I've heard people request for help for this, I am shocked at the little amount of work to it. I will say, more than likely, my guess is people do way too much. Like, they install Ubuntu 14.04 Desktop Edition and then wonder why they're having slow performers, or why it's so hard to get done. Where if you install, like you said, Debian, just straight Debian, if it comes with the OpenSSH already there and installed, ready to roll, all you have to do is do the install, remember your username, password from your other computer, SSH, using that same username, password, install default JDK, and install screen, and then you only have to remember like 2 commands in screen to detach and reattach, or to create a new terminal session. Get the one file, run the one file, and
it creates the whole world. Yeah, and so I think the hard part is learning how to install a Linux server and SSHing into it. If you already know that, you guys can totally run a CraftBucket server, no question about it. I want to point out that I completely agree with you on the CraftBucket.sh, and the reason I do, and it's actually an aside for this. Here's how easy it is to update to the next version.
Okay.
You just delete the CraftBucket.jar that we renamed earlier in the show.
Right.
Download the new one, rename it to CraftBucket.jar, and run the CraftBucket.sh again.
So you don't have to do clean installs.
Done. It's done. Done.
And,
It
and
updates.
that, right, and to me, that's the real reason of renaming Craft Bucket Dash 14 dot jar.
And making sure the shell script references it. That's it right there, man.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know, and if some people, I've had people ask me why run a server in my home, and if you've got the computers for it, here's the reason. That piece of junk old laptop that used to overheat, if you're running on a server, the machine that's actually playing Minecraft does not have to be a client and server. It's only a client, and that takes off some of the resource hit on that machine. So when we had a server running in the corner and my youngest son's using Minecraft on that laptop, he actually can play a lot longer. He has a better frame rate, everything.
That's a really good point. And that made me think of, so now I've all enticed you to create your own server, right? But now your son's asking you, hey, but can Mikey down the road play with us?
Right.
And you're like, no, this is only an internal server, buddy. He's going to actually have to bring his laptop over. Mikey doesn't have a laptop. He's got a desktop. How can Mikey play with me? Well, then we get into port forwarding.
Okay, well, I'll just ask a quick question up front.
Yeah.
If I have UPnP enabled on my router, which comes most of the time enabled by default, does it make it any easier?
No.
Oh, I tried.
All right, so in that servers.properties file that we have in our craft bucket, there's a server-port equals parameter, and there's a default value of 25565. All you have to do is port forward that in your router. I say all you have to do, but we've already talked about port forwarding and routing, so go back to our previous episodes, you'll learn about it. But basically all you have to do is take your external WAN address, port forward it to your internal Minecraft server address on port 25565, and that's it. And then give that address, that external address, to Johnny down the road, and he'll be able to play with your son.
Okay, and then I'll say this.
Or daughter.
Or Johnny's dad. I mean, he might want to play it.
Heck yeah.
One, if you have the possibility of setting reservations on your router, I highly encourage you to set a reservation on your router outside of your normal DHCP scope for that Minecraft server. So hypothetically, if I can get 1 through 50 randomly on my computer, I would want to give that Minecraft server 51 or something higher.
Right. So, like for me, it's like 192.168.0.3. That's, you know, I reserved it. So my DHCP is 50 and above, and I literally put my Minecraft server down at .3 just to make sure DHCP wasn't going to interfere with that, which we've talked about as well on the previous podcast.
Yeah, I'll say that because hard setting an IP address on a Linux machine for someone that does not know Linux whatsoever, it's definitely easier to set a reservation on a router.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Well, and so if your server does reboot and the rest of the people in the house want to connect to it, it's always going to be the same address. Or if your neighbor wants to connect, it's always going to be accessible. I'd say on today's modern internet connections, the likelihood of your IP address changing seems to be once every 3 months at the most.
Yeah, that's about it.
Right, so if you give your neighbor or your friend or your relative or whatever the IP address to get to your server, that's going to probably be a good address for at least a couple months.
But how do I find out what it is when it changes?
I just go into Google and type IP address, and Google tells me what my IP address is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
I'm just super lazy like that.
And and then you can just like shoot an email to whoever's connected to the server and say, look, new address, same port.
And I will just throw this in just for sakes. If you want to know IP, I believe it's knowip.org, you can get a free name. So it could be myminecraftserver.knowip.org. Could be what I want my name to be, and then I can have a little thing on my computer that connects to that service, so it always updates it, so I can just give someone that name. Knowip.org is the only one I know of still offering free domain names.
Yeah, and NoIP bugs the crud out of you. I mean,
Yes.
every month you have to click on it or it expires. And one month I was in Europe actually, and I could not click on the thing. There was no way I could, and lost my domain space, which really ticked me off. And so I haven't used them since. But yes, they're the only free dynamic domain or dynamic IP space in town, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I don't think you mentioned for your server that you run. One, approximately how many people will be on there at the most, and two, what are your resources?
Yeah. So that's an interesting question that I'm not quite sure I can answer. So let's pretend like that server is on my network.
Okay. It's on your network.
The one for your kids inside your house only.
Okay. All right. Let's do that then.
Yes.
So that's cool. Yeah. So that's actually running on a virtual machine. I've got 8 gigs of RAM dedicated to it, and I have what is this, like an iCore 7, something like that. It's pretty beefy. It's beefy.
Nice.
But I never have problems with it. Now, we have had upwards of 6 people on it, which is not a lot, and still not having any problems with it. Now, let me give you my experiences of the server, which we won't talk about too much as to where it is, but it's not on my network. Mm-hmm. I have had upwards of 10 people on that server, only 4 gigs of RAM. Sheesh, that's a lot of processing though. It's like 4 cores or something. And
not 4 cores, you mean 4 processors.
Or excuse me, 4 processors. Yeah.
Xeons? Are they Xeons by any chance?
No, excuse me. Two processors, 4 cores each. And then but anyway.
Fiber switch maybe?
Oops, sorry, I just smacked my mic. Everyone's gonna love that. But so obviously bandwidth wasn't a problem up there. And space. Well,
right.
Actually, nothing was a problem up there. We had 10 people on. There was no problem. Now, my suspicion is this. I probably could have run about 100 people on this server.
Ooh.
Yeah, you think?
I think so. I would have had to up the RAM to about between 16 and 32 gigs. Of course, that's not my goal. I'm trying to create a safe environment for people who like to play them, because you never know who's going to come on a server if you open it up to the world.
Oh yeah.
Right. And Minecraft people are crazy, and I love. That's why I love Hunger Games on Minecraft, because I love shooting the crazy people. But
yeah.
But it's that being said, it's not inexpensive to run a large Minecraft server. That being said, who's gonna join your server right off the bat? You can seriously start small, and then once you get enough people built up and you have a nice environment for whoever's playing, there's a lot of services out there now, VPSs, specifically for Minecraft, that you can grow on the fly, and that's probably the way to go if that's what you want to do.
Well,
have
and
you
I'll
seen
say
Minecraft Realms yet?
Yeah, I have. I'm not crazy about Minecraft Realms, and the reason I'm not is because it's specific to Mojang, and you can't run the Craft Bucket the mods on it.
Right.
So you're really getting really vanilla servers, and there's a lot of places out there that sell Minecraft servers where you can play Hunger Games, man. Who doesn't want to shoot somebody?
well, and here's my question. I'm going to guess this is a benefit. Here's an example of a benefit in the Java being used in this. Hypothetically, I have my old laptop, let's just say hypothetically, I want to use as my first server. I take it, I install it, I take the jar file, boom. When I move up to my desktop or a dedicated server, I just have to copy that Craft Bucket folder over, and because it's a Java virtual machine, it basically can still run. And then when I say I want to go to an internet server, I basically just copy that environment, that folder structure up to that server, and I should basically have a seamless experience of
You're
the world.
completely right. It's just a jar. If you follow the instructions that I put in that document, you're going to have a craft bucket folder. You can copy that craft bucket folder to a Windows machine. You can copy that craft bucket folder to a Mac or a Linux machine. Hell, you could probably try it on BSD. I don't know if Java runs on BSD.
I don't know.
But no, you're absolutely right. All that data is going to move over, particularly because of that level dash name. It's all in those folders. So you actually don't need anything else except for those folders with the name of your world. If you can copy those over to another server, the rest of it is just running that craftbucket.jar file. It'll create everything else, and you'll have your world. And make sure the server.properties matches the world name, and you're rocking and rolling.
Well, and I'll say this, because you said basically when you do an upgrade, you just rename that one file and you run it. All the folder structures there, my guess is, hypothetically, if I'm running, again, hypothetically, 2.5 on my computer here, but on the server on the network, it's running 2.7. When I copy all that up and I have that new jar file to run, it should, again, just work.
Absolutely. As long as you have the jar file and it's off, and then you run it, it's going to upgrade those files. Most of the world files don't get changed. It's actually most of the properties and the internal Java files that run the game get changed. So, yeah, you're totally good if you move your world files over. And I've done it. I've run with Dropbox in the early days. I made a Minecraft world in my Dropbox folder and had that sucker sync all the time. It was ridiculous. Like, it was syncing all the time. But it totally worked on both servers.
Well, stupid question. You have a really good experience going up in upgrading the level of the jar file, the version of the jar file. Have you ever, like, well, over here we're only running. You can't go back.
No good. No good going down. You're gonna have a lot of hard times.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your client, you can. As long as your client, I've rolled my client down and not had problems with most servers.
But
I won't say
rolling the
why
server
you might want
down
to do
though is not
totally different.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can roll the client down, which is, you kind of have to if you want to play older servers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so I'll say this. There's nothing really complex going on here. It's quote-unquote simple Linux installation. I'm sure if you just YouTube search Debian install, you'll see plenty of videos showing you how to do it. Linux is easier to install than most people think. It's just some words, some phrases, some terms might be new. If you just follow a tutorial online or a video online, it's really easy. Install those two applications, get that jar file, and if you want to, port forward. None of that is complex. None of that requires certification or higher education, let's just say. This is all basic networking or administration type thing. I was honestly expecting it to be a lot more complex, a lot more configurations, a lot more text editing of stuff having to happen, but because it's a jar file, it's just to basically run.
Yeah, and I know we're running at the end of the show here, but you're exactly right. And what I would suggest is forget about the port forwarding. If you have a couple of kids that are involved in Minecraft, check this out. This is one thing we haven't talked about at all. We throw Minecraft on this server, right, which with the instructions we've used, there is a modules folder. Or a plugins folder. And then let them pick out the plugins that they want to try out. You want to talk about rejuvenating their interest in creativity, which is what, in my opinion, is Minecraft is all about. They can pick their plugins out. You download them to the folder within that craft bucket folder.
Stop, start,
restart the server, and now they get to play those plugins. And those plugins are expansive. They're from the simplest things to one of the most amazing superhero things you can ever play on Minecraft. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'll say plugins.bucket.org.
That's it.
Each page has, I'd say, roughly 20 or so different plugins, and there's 759 pages worth of plugins.
We should have talked about that earlier. That's one of the best parts about it.
Well, yeah, plugins to me are always gold. And I will say I like how they have them categorized. I think that can help get to what someone's looking for.
Well, I can tell you, this is how hard it is. My son wanted a Minecraft server. When he first wanted a computer, I handed him a laptop and a Linux disk, and I said, make it work. He wanted a Minecraft server. I says, I'd love to play on your Minecraft server. How long until it's going to be done? And he had it up and running. I mean, before the end of the day, he had it up and running. We were playing on it. He had Craft Bucket going, and he found the mods folder. He had all that going himself. I didn't even realize it had gotten that far. It's literally that hard. And he runs Linux, by the way, not Windows.
Nice.
Well, I kind of figured that. Wow, I would say this, guys. For as endless seemingly Minecraft can be with options, worlds, mods, servers, people, the only thing it's really limited is the complexity of the installation, and the ability for it to have high-res graphics. I guess I'll just put a little.
Yeah,
dig
no,
in
that's
right
it.
there.
It's the you're exactly right. It's the quality of the machine. The hardware requirements are the worst part about it. Everything else is gold.
Can you imagine how much requirements would be needed if this was running at like 720p type graphics? This would be insane.
Exactly. I mean,
You would need
that's why they did it.
You can do some texture packs that.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's not going to be like real life, but it gets pretty cool.
I'll just say, if it was high-end graphics, you would need to run it on like CERN level computing power. I'm just saying.
Oh, I mean, the other thing is like, and we haven't. I mean, I don't want to make. I know we're done here, but you can also download these huge map packs. Like my son and I and my daughter, we've roamed through Rome.
What?
Like they have these texture packs that people have built that are replicas of huge cities, ancient cities.
That's
and
cool.
They have map packs or adventure packs where there's this, medieval huge town where there's quests involved. So it's not just going in and hacking and slashing zombies and stuff. It's a real exploration. It's really cool. Yeah.
So it has
kind of what I really liked it. Why I kind of really got into it is the whole 8-bit graphic type style. Because yes, you have your blocks you're building and stuff, but when they got into the adventure mode, the adventure maps, the different things you can do, it was like just playing a 3D 8-bit game that you used to play back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'll say, I believe now that you say that, I do think I remember there was a team of people that built to scale, quote unquote,
Star Trek Enterprise.
Star Trek USS Enterprise NC-17 Class D or whatever. It's literally like, I want to say it was like 10 football fields in length. You can literally walk through the entire ship. The type of creation, I'll say, that can happen on this apparently is only limited to people's imaginations. Because if you're sitting there mapping entire cities out.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord.
I've seen fully built Imperial cruisers, a Death Star. I mean,
a Death Star. That's great.
There's some people out there that got the mind for it.
There's
how much time does it take?
Oh, so much.
The kind of person that plays Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah, exactly. There are Star Wars texture packs. So if you download the Star Wars texture pack and then download the right map, you're literally walking through Star Wars. That's the thing about Minecraft, man. It's endless imagination. And I'm gonna get serious for a second. Not that I've been way too serious the whole time.
One Mississippi.
Yeah, but my daughter, I've talked about it before. She has a learning disability, and she's been playing Minecraft since she was 5. And I can tell you right now, with the creativity that Minecraft has provided to my daughter, she is better off than if she had not played it. It's amazing how much she can do in that game where she shouldn't be able to. And it's just something else. So check out Minecraft. Forget about the server. Just play it. Whatever.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to get serious for a couple seconds, too. That is the one thing I think that is hugely lacking in all type of people's logic when it comes to education or IQ. it is possible for mind expansion to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it really truly is. And dare I say, as much as I despise Java with a passion, as much as I would love to torch the offices of Oracle to the ground, as much as I don't want to have a Minecraft server on my home network because my kids ignore me enough as it is, I
It's a great
have
way to
to.
go with them.
What time do I have to sit down and play Minecraft? Chad introduced me to a RetroPie. I'm already suffering with that.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I talk to you, you're playing that thing. You could totally play Minecraft.
Well, no. I do believe you set a task with a kid up and you give them the option to learn. It's almost like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, every kid is a scientist by default because every kid picks up stuff and wants to experiment and break things.
Yeah.
They want to see what happens. It's the same kind of basic thing in Minecraft. And that's where I do honestly, the younger the kid, the more I encourage these kinds of game playings. To me, grown adults playing it is just, come on.
No, man. Come on.
Come on.
Stuff.
Okay. I'm just going to agree with you because we're on a show.
And then close the show out so that I can't disagree with you.
Exactly. Chad, I want to also say, dude, I think this is the first show we've done since NELF, and it's been more than a month.
Yeah, that's right.
I gotta say, dude, if I could right now, I'd hug you again and pat you on your back. We had lots of fun. That's all I gotta say.
Have fun. Too much.
The Last Known God. I am so happy. That was a guy who I've heard of and I've seen in IRC. I've never thought I would ever meet him, and I got a chance to meet him. Super cool guy.
Great guy.
And let me just say this: scary smart.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to meet him all over the United States, and he's just one of my best friends. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I'm just really happy he doesn't work for NSA. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a really good time.
Although he might now. He changed jobs while we were there.
So should have lied to me, Chad. And I'm sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to rub in more NELF talk on Podnuts because I know you're getting a little upset at that. But I don't know. Again, Josh, I can't thank you enough for that cast you did with Alistair. That was just good stuff. Do either of you guys have anything you want to end off with? Email addresses, contact information, or anything? Chad?
Bye.
Oh, okay. I will go. Chad at Wollenberg.com. I do have to say we did get a Miles of Gaming out recently, and we're about to come out with another one, which is going to be interesting. We're gonna talk about MUDs. Do you guys know what MUDs are? It kind of goes along with
you
Minecraft.
Introduced your son to a MUD?
Yes.
Wow, that's all I got to say. I cannot wait to hear Miles's interpretation in verbal form of what he sees a MUD is and how he feels about them.
Yeah, so there's your teaser, milesofgaming.com. The episode will be coming out probably over the next week. So there it is. What's a MUD?
Multiplayer something dungeon. Multi-user dungeon.
There it is.
Yeah, very cool. Josh?
Let's play Minecraft. Stop talking.
Okay. I thank everyone for their support. Thank everyone for downloading. Please do not forget, there is a donate button on the front of Podnuts. The more you donate, the less we have to go to sponsors. I'm just saying. And don't forget, podnuts.com/Amazon is always an easy, seamless, frictionless way to support the network. Thanks everyone, and I will talk to everyone in a fortnight.
Did you know you can learn to program computers in Minecraft?
Mm-hmm.